The most thrilling, spine-tingling series ever.
From the pages of R.L. Stine's best-selling books,
And the screams go on forever and ever.
We now return to Goosebumps.
Okay.
All right. Welcome back, everybody. We are the Goosebumps Crew Podcast. I am Shawwin, and this is my co-host, Hayden. Bjorn not being able to join us at the moment. The Australian time, and the boy works 2 jobs, so what are you going to do? But we are sad that he's going to miss this one because I know he was really excited about the live on stage. We are joined today by a very special guest, though, and Chloe has been a back and forth battle between us trying to get you scheduled here. And I know we posted to the fans a long time ago questions to ask you, but fans, it is now finally time. Life gets in the way. What are you going to do? But, she is finally here. And Chloe, welcome to the Goosebumps Crew Podcast.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Chloe, if you could just tell us a little bit about yourself and, are you still acting today? What kind of got you into the live on stage, things like that?
Yeah, so it all just kind of happened really fast when I was a child. I was in a performing group, and in the performing group, it was a singing and dancing group. I found a manager. I did a couple commercials, and then an audition came up for Goosebumps Live on Stage, and they were auditioning all over the United States to fill the spots of the 11-year-old daughter. Or actually, sorry, she was 9 at the time. I was 11. And so my manager contacted me and she's like, do you want to go down to Miami and audition for this? And I begged my mother, as a child does. And so we got in the car, drove down to Miami, and it was packed. There were so many kids there. And I went in for the audition, and right after I went in the room, they told me to stick around they were giving kids on the spot immediate callbacks. So they gave me an immediate callback, and then I had to wait around for about an hour. And then I went in for the callback, and the next day I got a call from my manager, and then they said that I was on first right of refusal, which I was like, what does that mean? And it was basically they were trying to match the other actress with me because it was a child role. It had to be double cast. So they were just trying to figure out the match and everything. And they ended up casting another girl in New York. So it was her and I. And I think it was the day after I got the final call that I had to be in New York in 2 weeks to start rehearsals. And I was in Florida at the time. So that's kind of how it transpired.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So it seems Goosebumps across every media spectrum holds the same thing of hurry, 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 hurry.
Yes.
Yes.
Which is kind of wild when you think about it. But I mean, that's just how popular it was at the time. They wanted to get stuff out as soon as possible.
Right.
So, and keep the hype train going.
Yeah.
So after you got the part and you flew out to New York, was that your first time to New York?
It was. Yeah. It was my first time in New York. And it was surreal because I was in Times Square, and that's where the hotel was we were staying at. But yeah, our rehearsals were like 8 to 10 hour days, of course, with breaks. But it was a lot. And like I said, it was 2 weeks. So 2 weeks of intensive rehearsals, meeting all the cast members, meeting the crew, R.L. Stine. Like, it was just our director, and our director was amazing. I don't know if you guys know much about Rupert Holmes, but the song Pina Coladas, like that was his jam. But yeah, he was a writer as well. And then I think he had done some Broadway shows as far as directing, but this was a really big one for him. So yeah, so it was really cool to work with Rupert Holmes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I mean, when you get a big role like that, I mean, it's always super exciting, I'm sure. Especially at that age, you're like, oh, score, and you get a free trip to New York, so that's even better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I wanted it so badly. I just remember like, even it was funny because like even when because I lived in Tampa, so when we were driving to Miami, I said to my mom, I was like, this role is mine. And she's like, no, she's like, you don't understand, there's gonna be thousands of girls auditioning. And I was like, I don't care. I was like, I feel it in my soul, this role is mine. And it's just like, as a child, I mean, the world is yours. It's just like there's no such thing as no yet. So but yeah, I was very determined. I was a very determined child, and I was like, I got to figure out like what I can do to get this role. And yeah, I just made it happen. I was lucky, right place, right time.
Which is awesome. But you said you got to meet Stine, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I got to meet Stine.
Oh, okay. So, well, with it being New York, I guess that doesn't surprise me. That's where he still lives today. So what was your experience like meeting him? Just out of curiosity.
So with Stine, so he popped into the rehearsals, but at that time, I'm trying to think if like, guys, this was so long ago that I'm like trying to, piece things together. And I'm like, all right, what was the timeline? But he came to a lot of the shows. And so because of that, like, I remember I'm like, okay, he was at the rehearsal process. I mean, he was at our rehearsals, but I don't know if like I actually talked to him at that point, but I did get to talk to him at our opening, and our opening was in, I believe it was Pensacola, Florida. And yeah, I mean, it was amazing meeting him because I mean, it was R.L. Stine, and it's just like, you're the creator of this, incredible world. And yeah, it was so cool.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Like, I think Catherine Long said it best, who played Carly Beth in the 90s TV show. When she met him, it was like a creepy Mr. Rogers. And that title sticks with me because I've met him a few times, and we hosted his panel back in October of last year, and just even talking with him and stuff, you do get that vibe. It's super nice guy, but he does have that kind of creepy factor still for some reason.
Yeah.
Even though he's definitely more funny than scary.
Right.
He's got a very dry sense of humor.
Yeah.
So anybody who's ever got a chance to be around him or meet him, it's always fun to hear their stories because it's always the same. Like, he's making a joke, or you kind of get the creepy vibe, but he's still trying to be funny at the same time. So it's definitely a unique experience. But it was interesting to hear that he was there, though. But because I don't think at any point is he ever noted to be like fully connected to the live on stage at that point. So the fact that he stopped in is actually really cool to hear about.
Yeah, he came to a lot of the shows, and I remember he brought his daughter too, because obviously she was a big fan. But yeah, I had like one little home video or something, and we were all kind of standing around after, I think it was after our opening. And yeah, it was like Rupert Holmes, R.L. Stine. And yeah, it was really cool. Kind of going over about like how our first show went and how proud they were of everyone. Yeah.
So were you a fan of the series prior to getting the role, or did this introduce you? Okay.
Yeah, no, I was an avid reader, and I loved Goosebumps. So it was something that like, yeah, when I saw that I had that opportunity, it was like, I have to make, like I said, I was like, I have to make this happen.
Right. What was your favorite story at the time? Because I don't know, it was 98, right, when the show happened?
Yeah, it was 98.
Yeah, 98.
Yeah. So what was like the go-to book that you would read?
I would say anything like I'd say probably anything like Slappy related.
Okay.
I just I thought it was so creepy and just like I don't know. I thought that the dummy was so just interesting and weird and but yeah, it was so funny because my character Jamie, she ended up like I worked with Slappy so much in the actual play. So, and it wasn't a musical or anything, it was just a straight play. But yeah, I always like had a Slappy in my hand, or like I had like the little Slappy, but then like the giant Slappy, that was like this fun house scene. And that was kind of like my main interaction with him. Like I was always kind of cracking jokes with Slappy, and like there's another cast member that is my brother's, I guess, like his best friend. And so like I would always like crack on him too when Slappy would make jokes. And so yeah, it was just interesting because I'm like, oh, that was one of my favorite ones. And then I ended up like really working with it. So that was cool. That was really cool.
So was it like a ventriloquist dummy that they had there with like an actor doing the voice, or how did that whole thing work?
Yeah. So the actual voice, it was this like so there was one like doll that kind of sat, there was a bookstore. And so he like sat on the bookshelf, and then it was one actor and he voiced that. He played multiple roles, but yeah, he was basically like the interaction of Slappy. And then I'm trying to remember with the giant Slappy, like he somehow moved it, if it was like a puppeteer. I don't remember, but this thing was massive. It was like it took over like a big part of the stage, the like giant Slappy, and it was freaky as ever. But yeah, the other actor, I think he played like 4 different roles, and one of them was Slappy.
That actually kind of brings me to one of so as you know, we asked fans kind of some questions to ask you about things they were curious about. Somebody asked, I'm trying to find it. They asked about like the monster that was on stage, and I guess kind of branching off into all of the monsters that were on stage, including Slappy. Were those ever things that like freaked you guys out off, when you're doing rehearsals, like kind of standoffish from those, or how did that whole interaction work?
Like we'd have our tech rehearsals and such. And so during like the tech rehearsals, like nothing really moved. And so I think like when it did come to life, it was, it like immersed us in the world so much more. But yeah, it's like, if when the show ended and it's like you look on the stage, or there's not that many of us, it was freaky because I mean these monsters were massive. And yeah, they were a huge part of the show. So, but I think it's like, I don't think I was like ever truly, I think the fun house probably freaked me out the most, just because there were so many doors and stuff, and just like, it was, it literally was like a fun house. And so it's like, if it's dark and whatever, and you're like, okay, what's going to kind of pop up next or whatever. So it's like, stuff like that was a little creepy, but I just remember having so much fun. That's like literally like what I remember. But yeah,
that's another thing that's really fun to hear about from different medias of Goosebumps. They all have the same thing. No one ever said, man, I absolutely hated my time working with anything Goosebumps. Everybody has loved it.
Yeah.
From the 90s show to the Disney Plus show to the artists to everything, they've all had such positive things to say about their time with Goosebumps.
Yeah.
And even if they can't remember, like, because it was, for a lot of them 30 plus years ago at this point, it's been a while, and they probably haven't been asked about Goosebumps since then until they came on here. So it's interesting to see like memories come back though, and their face kind of change, and like, oh yeah, no, I totally, oh, check this. And so, I mean, it's really fun, I think, for a lot of them to reminisce about their time with Goosebumps and to remember some of the things that they did on that. Because even though this was a short-lived production, because I think if I remember, I went from like September to December. So it didn't have a very long run, but doesn't mean it can't be memorable either. So, obviously with rehearsing 10 hours a day, it kind of sticks with you. It's not just like you're there for a few hours at a time and you're gone and you come back later.
Yeah, and we were doing, I
So
mean, there was so much press stuff at the time too, and just like newspaper articles. So it's like we were doing a lot of different, just a lot of different things for the show. And it was just like everything moved so fast. And that's the thing, it's like when you're like fully immersed in something and it's that short-lived, it's just like it's so fast. And then we would switch cities. We had like we had a tour bus. So we'd all get like on our little tour bus, actually a big tour bus, and there was like a separate bus for all the props and stuff. And God knows how, I mean, breaking down those stages, I don't know how they did it, but there were a lot of moving parts and a lot of people involved. But yeah, so we'd be in one city for a week or 2 weeks, and then we'd pack it up and then move on to the next city. And then obviously some cities that were larger, we would stay at longer. And yeah, but it was just like we had a bus and all the cast members, everyone got on the bus and we traveled around.
So how did that work with school? If it
yeah,
was
I was
September
gonna ask
to
the same
December?
thing.
Yeah, so my character, there were other children, but they weren't children. The other cast members, they were like 13 to, so I had a sister, a brother, and then the friend. And then there were two other actors in a totally different like scene that had nothing to do with like our immediate family. But they were all adults. So they were all over 18. And I want to say they were probably in like their early 20s. But yeah, so because my role was shared by another actress, we had a tutor. So when she was on stage, I would be in school and vice versa. So that's kind of how that worked. And then like in between, well, on our off days, we'd obviously have school. And so it was very structured. And we had a wonderful tutor. He was really cool. And yeah, it was just like, you did your school in between performances, and then we'd have our tech rehearsals at each city. So when we weren't in tech, like we would be in school. And they had to double cast because there's no way with, a child working that much. Like, yeah. So.
Especially with travel too. I mean, when I think about like the 90s show and we talk from people from that, they had certain limited time to film,
Right.
even though like a lot of it had to be like at night or very early morning, just so they could keep the dark because a lot of stuff is shot at night. So I was kind of wondering that with you traveling around, you said with the tour bus and stuff, it's totally different scenario than just, okay, guys, it's this time I'm cutting out because, I'm only allowed to work so much and I got school. So
yeah, no, our tutor was with us the entire time. And it was just like we had all our lessons. He had to organize all our lesson plans prior. And it was a lot, but it was very, like I said, it was very the production crew, like they had everything like very, very structured for us. So I felt that like the lessons that, the schooling that I was getting on set was amazing. It was a lot of work. So it was a lot of work jumping back and forth between, and I of course was like, oh, I wish I was an adult and I didn't have to do the school, like, like the other cast members. And it's interesting because it's like when you're working with so many adults as an 11-year-old child, it's like, you're looking at everyone else and you're like, oh, that's so cool. I can't wait to be that age and not have to like have my chaperones and whatnot. Because it's like I had to have my family chaperone me. That was another thing too, guys. We always we had to have a chaperone. They did not hire a chaperone for us. So that was one of the things with the tour. It was like, all right, if we cast you, you obviously have to have a parent, a guardian, someone. So I either had like my grandmother, my father, my mother out with me at all times. So, and it was the same with the other girl.
Well, I'm actually glad to hear that because I've heard and watched documentaries about even Nickelodeon shows that put the fear in me. I was like, man, I used to love this show. Now I'm looking at a different light. I'm like, holy moly.
Yeah.
It's like the way some of those kids were treated and stuff that happened. It's like, whoa. So
yeah, they treated us incredibly. And like I said, we always had some kind of guardian. And yeah, we weren't just like running around. I think in my little brain, I was like, oh, I wish I was doing all the things that like, you know, the other cast members were doing. But yeah, now looking back, I'm really grateful because they, like I said, they had it structured so well. And they respected the fact that we were children too. Like it wasn't like, you know, they worked us to the bone or anything. It was like we had so many days too where like we got to see the cities that we were at. We got to go to the aquarium. When we were in Toronto, we got to tour around Toronto, and it was just like there were so many like fun little side adventures that we all did. And then like the cast members would get together and we would do stuff. And yeah, it was, none of us were like worked for so long that like we didn't have free time. Like there was plenty of free time. I remember going shopping in my favorite stores, like all stuff like that. So it just like, it was really fun. And then it's like, oh yay, we get to do our show. And then when the shows would happen, it was cute because afterwards, like at the stage door, autographs were a really big thing. So like all the kids afterwards would come and like, you know, ask for autographs, and we'd talk to them a little bit about the show. And that was always cool too, because you're just seeing like everybody just like had such a great positive energy. Like even the people that saw the show, they were like, oh my God, that was amazing. That was so fun. That was scary. Like I remember a lot of people were like, that was terrifying. Like even some of my family members, when they would see the show, they're like, that was literally terrifying. I'm like, yeah, it is. It's a pretty scary show. But we were so used to it. So, but yeah, looking back, I'm like, it was pretty scary. The things that happened in that show.
It was a different time.
Yeah.
I mean, we asked some cast members from the '90s show too, that, you know, just to put in tie in with that a little bit, is this, we like, do you have kids now? And they're like, yep. I'm like, did you let them watch the episode you were in? And they're like, some of them would say, we haven't really watched it, but yeah. And then some of them are like, yeah, you know, we went ahead and watched it before we did this podcast or whatever. And they're like, I can't believe they got away with this back in the day. Like, this is so scary. I'm like,
Yeah.
it was a different time. It was a different time.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't know. I personally, I think a lot of the stuff now is more scary because it's just so gory. And that's the thing. It's like, there wasn't the gore. Like, yes, the stories were freaky and there was stuff that was scary, but it wasn't like, yeah, I just feel like now it's just, there's so much more violence. It wasn't violent. You guys know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Goosebumps
It played more on psychological, but Stine had a really good way too about his stories to make sure that it wasn't ever too serious, and would cut the tension with a joke or something somewhere in there,
Yeah.
you know, to alleviate that scene for a minute. And I imagine the same thing with the, you know, play itself for the live on stage, you know, because even though this was not like actually supposedly based on a Goosebumps book, it was written for, you know, play version. If he wrote it, because, you know, there's a lot of debate on that. No one really knows. I'm assuming he did. Then it'd still have that Stine touch. He wouldn't let it get too wild and too scary to where it just repels kids and the audience as a whole. But again, different times. Sometimes that stuff slips through, and you're like, eesh. But like you said, it's not bloody. It's not gory. It's not that kind of scare. So, I mean, that it was a fine line, but he rode that pretty well. And by that point, I would say he had it nailed down.
Right.
I don't know if you remember ever reading Welcome to Dead House. That was his first book in the Goosebumps series.
I do remember it, but I'm like, refresh my memory as far as
that one was a bit more grotesque and a little bit more dark because he was coming off of Fear Street, so he didn't really. They just asked him, as like, hey, write something for kids, like 8 to 12 or whatever, and I think it was a little past that 12-year-old mark at points, because it was definitely much darker. But it was revolving a family that just moved into Dark Falls, and the Mr. Dawes who sold them their house, and the whole concept was the town got involved in some type of like I'll say accident, waste accident, where it kind of turned them all into what we don't know if they're like ghoul, zombie, vampire, undead things. They kind of feed on people, and then those people become like one of them. and then
Okay.
Mr. Dawes brings a new family in.
Right.
So it
That
was a
makes
very
sense. Yeah.
yeah, it was a very dark story in itself anyway. So trying to make something like that lighthearted at times, I'm sure was not going to be easy.
Yeah.
Right.
But
Yeah.
yeah, it's definitely a fan favorite. I was kind of wondering if you remember that one, but that's kind of what the
Yeah.
90s felt like for a lot of people, I guess.
Mhm.
And today, watching it now, like, whoa, it's like,
Yeah.
where did this come from?
Well, I think too, it's like what was cool about the play is it was just like it was a play on so many different ones as well. So it's like, we are all of our characters knew what Goosebumps was, but then we were like kind of transported into this world one night when we got lost, when we were like waiting, I guess like we were waiting for our dad to arrive, and he never did after like a soccer game or something. And then we wander by ourselves, and then we end up at like this bookstore, and we're like, oh, this kind of reminds us of like Goosebumps. And yeah, so it was just like the fact that they did stuff like that was it was extremely psychological too. Like there were so many things that I'm like, even when I recently read the playback, I'm like, that was pretty dark and psychological. And I just like, I love psychological thrillers too. And I think that's like, maybe maybe our generation loves psychological thrillers because it's like, that's why, what we remember from Goosebumps. And it's like, yeah, I know so many people who are obsessed with psychological thrillers. It's like my favorite type of film genre and TV.
Yeah.
Same. So you and my
Same.
daughter, grew up with Goosebumps, because the
Yeah.
influence I had with it, I've influenced her on it. So, but now, I mean, she's really big on the horror genre too, but she's more into the psychological thrillers and like true crime and murder mystery type stuff
Yeah,
more
same.
than the gore stuff, because I was never into that either. The gore stuff, I mean, it just ain't for me. I know Hayden does like some of it, but
Yeah.
some of it's probably not bad, but it has to have a good story for me to
That's how I am.
overlook.
I'm like, I'm all about the story. And I think that's why, yeah, with a lot of the thrasher ones, I'm just like, a slasher, I'm just like, nah, I'm good on that. It's just gross and gory, no thanks. But yeah, there's so many good psychological thrillers out there. But yeah, maybe that's where like the true like love for it comes from.
Yeah. I guess on that note too,
I never really thought about it.
Yeah. On that note too, we one of the fans asked a question, said, "Who is your favorite actress in a horror movie?"
Gosh, favorite actress in a horror movie. Well, I don't watch horror, so
Psychological thriller, anything like that,
yeah, let me think.
or even character, I guess too. Maybe not just actress, but like general character.
Yeah. Um, I actually, okay, fair. I guess you would call this a psychological thriller, but Charlize Theron in Monster, that
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that she is absolutely phenomenal. And I think it's just like looking at someone like her be able to take on the character of Eileen Wuornos is just like, yeah, would you guys call Monster a psychological thriller? It's, I would. I mean, it's based on a true story. I think too, like, yeah, what's so cool is it's like it was just like the way she completely immersed herself in, like, she was Eileen Wuornos, and I think that was like one of the most brilliant performances of all time. So,
Yeah, it was one of the ones she immersed herself in so fully. I couldn't honestly, even looking at her, I was like, doesn't even look like the same person.
yeah,
It was a good movie. I'm not gonna lie, that was a great movie. It was just like that doesn't seem like Charlize Theron. It was kind of wild.
yeah, exactly. I love when actors and actresses can do that. It's just like that to me. It's just like the amount of work that goes into something like that, preparing that type of character too, and that commitment, and yeah, like just having that level of trust too, that like you can go there and do that. Yeah, that was hands down, like, she's amazing.
Absolutely. And to
Yeah.
segue a little bit on your character, how did you like after you got the role, did they kind of change things on you? Like did they put you in a direction of where you wanted the character, like where they wanted the character to go, or were you able to kind of develop that from what was written?
They kind of put so I remember at the callback, I was never one to wear this was interesting. I was never one to wear glasses, and I always would wear contacts. Like I started wearing contacts really early. And I remember like there was something about her that I was like, I feel like she would wear glasses. And so at the callback, I went in and I put my glasses on. And I remember like I had braids in my hair, and I just like kind of made myself, I'd say she was like kind of quirky in a way. And so I think maybe like the quirks of her, I just like I don't know. There was something about it that I was like, she needs, because at the time it's like, glasses were kind of nerdy. They weren't like as cool as they are now, for kids to wear and stuff. So I think it was just like, yeah, it was like, okay, they wanted her quirky, funny, a little offbeat. She was bratty too. She just like, she was very opinionated about things. Like I said, she would make fun of her brother's friend. She was just like, she was loud at times, but she spoke her mind. And I think that but there was something, I don't know what it was about like me putting on those glasses. And I'm like, did my glasses help give me that part? I don't know. But then like I hated glasses too. And then for like the next 7 months, I loved glasses and I wore them every single day. And looking back, I'm like, that's interesting that like I had these like bangs, braids, and glasses. And that was just like, that was Jamie. That was the character.
Well, that's actually really fun because I mean, yeah, it helps you kind of make the character your own too. So
yeah,
very cool.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, we had an assistant director too, and it was her and Rupert, this woman named Marcia, and she would give us a lot of notes. And so it was like, yes, you have the words on the paper, but it was always like, I really respected Marcia because she was always like, like, let's look at this a little bit deeper. And so I think that's also what I learned. It's like, okay, well, it's not, because as a kid, you just read the words and then you're like, okay, well, there's so much more to this than like just what's on the paper. Like, what is this child actually like? What am I going through? And why am I feeling this way? And so it just like, she helped me like first kind of understand how to break down a character, I would say.
Awesome. Yeah. I mean, it's good to have that guidance. There's multiple stories that we've heard on here, something similar, to Ron Oliver, to Ryan Gosling when they did Say Cheese and Die together back in the 90s, and
so cool.
a few other things.
Yeah.
Which is wild when you think about where Ryan Gosling got to start. It was in Goosebumps.
Yeah, that is.
But and it's good to have that kind of mentorship though, rather than hearing about potentially the off-putting other stories you get from the side of productions and Hollywood and stuff. It can be rough. One question that we did get from Spaceman 92, he asks, did you get to keep any of the merchandise, and do you have any of it today?
Yeah, I was given a Slappy doll. I don't know where that went, sadly. It's gone. But yeah, no, I have like a Goosebumps Live shirt. I have playbills, I have promo. I was gifted like a leather jacket that had like Goosebumps Live on stage on the back of it. And I think I had posted that on Instagram. But there's some kind of stuff that like, yeah, I still have like it was like this little like ladle light thing, and but the Slappy doll, I'm like, where is that? It's just gone into oblivion. I don't know.
If it's the Slappy I'm thinking of, it was like a plush of Slappy that they sold for that show. I think it's expensive now.
I'm sure
almost everything from the Live on Stage show is, but when they come up, like it's rare and they're so expensive.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Sure. Because they only sold the merchandise at the show, and that was it. And it's like you couldn't walk in a store and buy it. And then I want to say like they gifted the books at, I think it was opening night or something. They would get like they had a certain amount of books, not the playbill, but like the actual book that you held up earlier.
Yeah,
That, yes, Screams in the
those I
Night.
didn't see. Yeah.
Yes, but they gifted those. That's why those are around, and that's why like people, people are finding them at garage sales or whatever, because there was quite a few of those that would go out, but it wasn't every show, at least from what I remember. I think it was just like opening night. And then I
Opening
don't
night
know
in
if
like
you could
that
buy
city,
them. Huh?
like opening night in that city
Yeah.
where.
And I
Okay.
don't know if you could buy them. I'm like, could you buy them? I don't know. I literally can't remember. I mean, probably, but there was one point where they were like gifted to a certain amount of ticket holders, or like the ones who came for opening night.
That's really cool. I did not know that, because I was
Yeah, I didn't know
actually
that
wondering
either.
if that was something you purchased
Yeah.
like at their store booth that they traveled with, or if
Right.
that was something they just handed out like it was in your seat when you came in to sit
It was
down.
like it was given out. Yeah, it was given out pretty much like right when when they handed them the playbills.
I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
I've never thought about it, but there's no barcode on the back of it.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah, you probably weren't able to purchase it anywhere other than just there,
Yeah.
what they had. That's crazy.
I know. I wish I could like, God, I wish I could like properly go back and remember. You know what I mean? It's like, it's so crazy. It's just like
Yeah.
little like clips of things that come into the memory that you're like, oh yeah, that happened. And yeah.
Do you remember, not a total list, but like kind of the big cities that you guys hit? Do you know like what list that was? Like, did you go east to west coast? Kind
It
of.
was all East Coast. It was all
Okay.
East Coast. It was literally like up the East Coast and then Canada.
Okay.
And then we had like the other cities that were more like middle, I think they're more like middle America. And then I don't know if the West Coast, if that was like, I mean, it's short. They didn't get that far with the schedules. So they had like, the tour was supposed to go on, like I was booked for the full year. And then I think because it was such an expensive production, things, I don't know if like, I know for a fact though, that they, it needed very, very big theaters. So getting all those seats filled, I don't know if that was like, that might've been a big challenge for them at times. Cause it just like, yeah, they were just very, very big theaters that were necessary. So that's why it really only went on for 7 months. And then we got notified that it was ending. So, and it was going to London.
Yeah, I know we kind of talked about it a little bit before we started recording tonight, but yeah, with Goosebumps kind of coming into the end of its era, 98 to 99 era, it sad because I think it probably would have continued. And I know one of the questions was, why, did you know the reason why the show stopped?
Well, that was it.
Actually,
It was that it was a very, it was a, I mean, I know it was the most expensive Broadway production to date. There was nothing like it because the sets were so elaborate and expensive. And like I said, the breakdown took hours on end. And I think it just involved a lot of people. It just, I don't know if they just like weren't making the amount of money that they thought, but all I know is, I mean, from what they told us is that it just was like, it was extremely expensive to run and that they weren't filling the seats as they thought that they would have done. So I'm not sad because it's like, when kids did come, they absolutely loved it and their parents loved it. But yeah, it was, I don't know, just crazy.
Another question I really kind of was curious about too, and I imagine it's probably a no due to the timing of the live on stage and kind of the start of the decline for Goosebumps in the 90s. But since you became a part of the live production, were there talks of you joining the TV series?
It wasn't, not that I recall, because I think it was just like they were so focused on, the next transition, which was moving the production to London. So yeah, I think it was like they were really trying to see like if it would work in London. And I mean, gosh, I would have loved to go to London, but they recast everyone. Crew, everyone. It just like everything changed.
That's unfortunate. Yeah, I can see why they would do that. Financially, it would make more sense to do that.
Yeah.
But it is weird that like while there was a decline here in the States during that time, it was still booming everywhere else.
Right.
Germany,
Yeah.
like London, everywhere, like everywhere else, but pretty much the US has started its decline. But to be fair, we've talked about on here before, it wasn't just the lawsuit stuff. Some little boy wizard came around that time too that kind of
No, yeah.
stole the spotlight from
Yep.
Damn
kind of
him.
stole the spotlight from Goosebumps a little bit.
Yeah.
He who shall not be named.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I don't know, like, well, I wish we could say that there was more out there because even though it was short lived, it seems to have a lot of interest even today. So, especially the merch, like I said, I mean, a lot of that stuff is just really expensive now if you try to find it.
Right. Yeah.
But it was such unique merch for that too. Even to the point where Tim Jacobus did the artwork for the live on stage, which was really cool. And
I was thinking
Tim's a good
about that.
friend
I was
here.
like, I don't think I ever met him. Because that
I
would
was
have
going
been
to ask. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't recall. And like I feel like he would be someone who I would definitely remember meeting. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I did not meet him. But yeah, what a legend he is. Like seriously.
If he watched us right now, I would probably sit here and go, because we poke fun of each other a lot, and I give him a lot of crap. That's our back and forth. But since he probably won't watch this because it's, he doesn't watch anything if it's not Matlock or something, because he's old.
Okay.
So, yeah, no, he is a legend. He's a real good guy, actually. So, you would definitely remember meeting him if he was there. And I think that was at the time too. He wasn't bald. He probably was still rocking the mane, so he had like these long locks, torn jeans, and was like reveling at the time.
Nice.
So
nice.
But
that's so
yeah,
cool.
I mean, he's a good guy
on here too. That's really cool.
Yeah, he's a great guy. Genuinely a great guy.
You got to get R.L. Stine on here. Like, how do we campaign?
Well, so
yeah,
when I asked him, he said, "Oh, he's like, I don't do podcasts."
Yeah.
So that's why, like, when the opportunity presented itself for us to go to Curse City in San Antonio, we were already announced guests with Tim and some others. But it was then announced that Stine was going to be there. And we got lucky enough to, chat with him the night before and hang out with them for a little bit and then host his panel the next day. Kind of getting our podcast in a way by hosting his panel. Unfortunately, they don't let us play the whole thing. As we kind of talked about before, but we do have it so I can watch it at any time if I want to, which is really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we kind of got it in a way, but we've pretty much got everybody else with the exception of maybe a handful of people who we're still trying to get in touch with.
Right.
Looking at you, Ryan Gosling. No, I'm just kidding. We'll never
Ryan
get
Gosling,
that.
Hayden Christensen.
We'll never get that. Hayden Christensen. Yeah, we'll never get that. Yeah.
It's like what he did Mickey Mouse Club first. It was like Mickey Mouse Club first and then Goosebumps. Like
yeah. So a weird transition, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, well, I guess not. I mean, Disney did own Goosebumps for a while, and I don't think they own it now, but I think they did have the streaming rights for the latest adaptation they did on Disney Plus, which
that's its own thing.
Yeah,
it's its own thing. Yeah, if they would have called it anything else but Goosebumps for actual Goosebumps fans, personally, would have been great.
Right, exactly.
But I mean, you got Justin Long in the first season, and you get, Ross Geller in the second season, Mr. David Schwimmer. You're like, man, it's like got the star power. The acting was great. It's just the writing.
Yeah.
So that kind of leads me into that question. When you got the actual like script and stuff, what did you feel about the writing for what the live on stage was compared to like the books you had read before? Because you said you were a Goosebumps fan.
It was similar. I mean, it was a lot of the the quick back and forth. There was a lot of jokes too. But it was witty. It was dark humor. It was like I said, it was just very, I would say it fit well with the books.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
But I think like it was very creepy because it's like the father, in this like alternate, I think what was cool too is it's like they were in this alternate universe where it's like, were they real? Were they not real? At the end of the show, it's like you don't really know. But yeah, it's like they were in this kind of alternate universe where their father is running these like experiments in his lab after after their mother died. And so like the father ends up becoming this like horrible lizard thing. And but yeah, it's just like it's like he and then like the siblings in this alternate universe, like they end up like wanting to eat their brother. So it's just like it's very weird. And then they're like that scene ends and then they're back at the bookstore. So it's like weird stuff like that where it's like they start as like a normal family kind of, joking around, playing with each other, and then it's like, all right, it gets dark and it gets dark fast. And like once everybody goes to bed, it's like, what is dad doing upstairs? And so yeah, two of the siblings go upstairs in this attic and they like basically figure out that like their dad is a reptile.
And so kind of
sounds very similar to some other stories.
Yeah, stay out of the basement.
It totally made me think of
That's the thing. It's like a pun on every. I mean, it was like, how can we relate to every book?
Goosebumps, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's cool.
Kind of before we started recording the podcast, you did say, and just to confirm, that this book is basically the entire story from what the Live on Stage show was. It's like it's kind of one for one.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember though if it had is the theater in there? Do you remember?
Let me see.
Because the theater one was so creepy. My character was not in that particular scene, but yeah, that was
I'd have to go back and reread it and see. Nick, do you know?
Cool that they did a theater one that
I remember.
Yeah, that had to do with the theater that you're watching. Like that was, like I said, there was very interesting. It was it was psychological for sure.
Oh, so you're saying that there was like an interactive part with the specific theater you were in?
No, but it was about this like actor. It was about these two actors that essentially died, and then you didn't find out the one of them was dead until like close to the end.
Okay,
trying to get the girl that played my sister to jump and join him. I mean, it's dark. It's really dark.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like join me as a ghost, and this like he put this like I want to say. It wasn't a mask. It might have been a mask. I don't know, but he put like something on her face that like kind of allowed him to influence her more too. So he was trying to get her to jump to like join him and be a ghost in this theater.
I would have to go back and read it. But I am seeing stuff about like backstage, like just on some of the pages. So maybe there is a part of it that talks about the theater. But
I need to read it too, because the only thing like I've read recently is the play, because I do have it. Yeah.
I was gonna say, I think so at least from what the cover is telling me, it says it was by R.L. Stine, but based on the stage play by Robert Holmes. So there's probably some differences. And I don't remember offhand if there was, but that'd be something to dive into, because again, like for a lot of us, we only really have the book to go by. We didn't really, if we didn't see the play, or there's really no footage out there of it currently. Hopefully that changes, because I know like there were several people whose questions were the same, and it was just like, do you think Field should release the live on stage footage, or are there any photographs, videotapes? Like they were all very similar in that aspect, because so many people want to just see this. Like it's one of those things, it's kind of lost in time, and we just hope they let people see it.
Right. Yeah, it'd be really cool if they did something and they like, just digitized it and then just like released it. So, But yeah, the whole play, because I mean it was really like it was fun. It was fun. I mean, everybody enjoyed watching it. They were scared. They just thought it was like a lot of fun. But yeah, it definitely had
Yeah,
some.
very intriguing story to it for
Yeah,
sure.
for
And
sure.
based on what I'm hearing, especially about the props used for that play, like I would love to see those all in person. Like that would just be insane. And it
Yeah.
makes you wonder what happened to all these. Are they just sitting in a warehouse somewhere?
Yeah.
Like
And then did they keep the same? I mean, and they must have kept the same props for the London show.
Yeah, I can't imagine them rebuilding it,
It
especially
is
if
crazy
cost
to
was the
think though that
reason.
they took all of
yeah,
that would have been expensive to move
Yeah.
all of them. But that's what they wanted to try and do. So um but yeah, I mean I think it was so special too, is that like Paul Benedict, he was one of the leads. He played a character called Mr. Gander, who basically creepy bookstore man. But he was on a show I remember back in the day that my parents watched growing up called The Jeffersons, and he was a
oh,
wonderful
yeah,
actor. And he died, what was it, probably like 20 years ago or something. But yeah, just being able to work with someone like that, and he was so talented. I mean, everyone was so talented that
Mhm.
yeah, but he really brought that character, Mr. Gander, to life. And he was so good.
that's awesome. And that's the thing too. Like it's fun to hear about who people have gotten a chance to work with as
Yeah,
well.
Mhm.
You
yeah,
know, because some of them are influential, some of them like they were just really nice to him on set.
right.
It's all those stories that kind of make, I
Yeah,
think, all these people love working on the Goosebumps project that they've been doing.
yeah,
So, because I mean, like you said, they can be long days, and if you're going to be with people, you got to hope that they're good people,
Right.
because being there with those people makes those days even longer if they're not.
yeah. Yeah, I think because I had such a good experience, that's why like as soon as I came back, I just continued auditioning, continued working, and just like, pursuing acting, going to college for acting. And then it's obviously an extremely tough industry, but it's like I
Yeah.
do think that definitely continued my love for it and me
Mhm.
wanting to actually pursue it as an adult. Because if I had had a bad experience, I would have been like, okay, I don't ever want to touch that again. But
Mhm.
it was like, learning from so many talented people and working with so many talented people. And I mean, you guys should try and get Rupert Holmes on here, because he was our director, and obviously he wrote the screenplay. But yeah, like I just think like he would be a phenomenal person to talk to.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll definitely try to find some information on him. Uh, some people are harder to track down than others,
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
but we always thank our fans out there who watch us, who help us, get in contact with certain people like yourself. Even,
yeah,
we
Mhm.
wouldn't have found you if it wasn't for Elvis. So shout out to Elvis. I
yeah.
tried to get him to join us tonight. Unfortunately, he didn't get home in time.
Okay.
So it's another scenario of another fan helping us out to kind of record these for almost documentary purposes in
Mhm.
a way, because again, we don't hear these stories, we don't know these things about a lot of this stuff because nobody ever thought at the time, to roll some footage back then to save for later, because there was
Yeah,
no cell phones really
yeah,
that could do any of that like they can now, or
yeah.
social media, or what have you. So
Yeah, we can thank our parents for that, because I mean it's like my mom with her video camera is so funny. It's like I have hours of just random tour stuff. None of it is actually in the theater though. So I'm like, I know she wasn't allowed to bring the video camera into the theater, but like just documenting so much of it. And I'm
Mhm.
forever grateful, because I'm like, I'll always have that. And like I mean, I am 8 months pregnant, so I'm like, one day, like I'm gonna be able to show with a baby girl, but I'm like, one day I'm gonna be able to show her all of this too,
Mhm.
introduce her to that world that I was in. And I think
Mhm.
that's so cool. Just to have that.
Yeah, for sure.
congratulations. Is
Thank
this your
you.
first?
Yeah, it's my first. Yeah.
They say a girl. Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll love it. Mine, mine's just started driving this year,
Oh my
so
gosh. Wow.
I know.
Gosh, that must be nerve-wracking.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm always like, just call me once you get there. Let me know. Let me know.
Hmm.
She's gonna get tired of that, but I can't help it at this point. It's like you're driving by yourself. You're not even with anybody anymore.
Yeah,
So it's like, not to say she's not a good driver, but anything can happen. So it's kind of like, so it's nerve wracking.
it
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
I've lost years off my life probably,
Oh,
just from that.
yeah. Wow.
But it goes by quick, so
Mhm.
definitely enjoy it.
Yeah, no,
And
I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Definitely a new chapter of life. So
Hmm.
fun.
yes, it is.
Yeah.
Uh, so I guess kind of close things out here a little bit. Did you have any projects you're currently working on that's coming up that people can see? Did you have social media if anybody wants to follow you?
Yeah, I mean, I've kind of just for the meantime, I'm just focused on right now, I'm just focused on my pregnancy and everything. I was in a film with Gabourey Sidibe called Give Me Back My Daughter. That was last year. It was like a Lifetime original. But yeah, I that was like the most recent thing that I did. And then, like I said, I've just kind of I'll go back to acting and auditioning once I feel confident through pregnancy and all that.
Right.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I'll never stop. It's just something that like I've lived and breathed it my whole life. So, and
Hmm.
it's something that like once you're an artist, you're always an artist. So yeah.
Hmm.
Um,
100%.
mhm.
Even the artists we've had on here, I consider pretty much all of them, from prop makers to directors to act, like Tim or Craig or Mark, that who did all the covers back then. Um, all are artists in their own right, because it's a craft and you
Right.
constantly work on it.
Yeah.
It's very disheartening sometimes from what I hear, especially as an actor,
Yeah.
especially when it's a part you really want if you don't get it.
Oh, it
But
happens.
it's
It
one thing when you
happens.
do.
Or like a pilot that you're in that doesn't get picked up, which is just,
Yeah.
gut wrenching. That
Hmm.
happened to me, yeah, a few years ago. But it's life, and you just, you learn from it and you keep going. And it's like when it happens, it happens. And in the meantime, it's like you live your life, you find out what else you love to do, it's like you don't just focus on because so many people just they want it so badly that they just like they can't think of anything or do anything else or want to do anything else. But I mean, this life is so short. So it's like take the opportunities as they come and then live your life and
Hmm.
you love.
I don't know. I just heard a story a little bit ago about an 11-year-old who really wanted
Well,
this
that
part.
11-year-old, she had a lot to
And
learn. My God. If only life was that easy. Just like
yeah, it's like, I know it. Things
yeah,
would be so much easier. But
yeah.
the grass is always greener, as they say.
Yeah.
And then
Hmm.
you look back, you're like, I should
I
have just
was so
watered where I
lucky though.
was.
Like as a kid, like I started doing theater when I was really young, and I just remember like I worked on so much like even like I was in the children's choir of like a Broadway show, just like things just came so easily. And I'm like, where's that now?
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah,
I feel like the older you get, you feel like there's more added pressure to you. Whereas a kid,
oh,
you're a little bit more, you
free.
feel more free. You
Yeah,
feel
Hmm.
more free.
yeah. It's
Now,
just
I
like
will say
there's
the
so much more room to
Goosebumps
play,
Wiki,
I think.
yes, there is so
Yeah,
much more room to play. Well, I mean, even that, like, I think that's a great thing about artists and actors and everything like that, anyway, is you can actually still use that imagination, and still, and Tim talks about it at the end of his panels all the time, where, you know, he quotes somebody, and I'm not going to misquote it because I would butcher it.
hmm,
He's got that panel down to like an art form at this point where he can just roll it. But basically, you work on your craft every day, even if you don't feel like it. And basically, it's the imagination that will take you further rather than, you know, hoping it works out, or what have you. And it's just one of those things you learn as you get older.
Yeah.
Because again, when you're a kid, it's like, oh, I could just do this. It's fine.
Yeah.
It'd be really cool to get this. I totally can get this. You
Yep.
feel more confident because you haven't really gotten, I guess, the totality of life and
Yeah.
learning to deal with losses and defeats quite yet.
Yeah. Everything's, and I think that's another thing. Like, that's why I'm also so excited to have a child, because it's like just seeing like the newness of everything again, and experiencing life for the first time, and just like, wow, this whole world. And because it's like you almost forget like that, because it's like you live day to day, but it's like there's so much wonder and awe that children get to experience, that like, yeah, that like when you have a child too, you're like, oh, I'm right back there again. And like, obviously when you're acting, you're crafting, but like, yeah, just actually seeing it from like child's eyes is so cool.
It is, especially when you get to experience that with them. It does make you feel like you remember your first time experiencing that too.
Right.
So you're kind of like right along with them. As now mine's a teenager, it's like, in the driving aspect, I was like, I was a stupid young driver. I was like, please do not be like me when I was driving when I was younger. Because I had a Mustang and I was a stupid driver. So young and dumb, as they say. But thankfully, I think, and I can definitely see this on your end too. It's more of you know, more of a guiding hand for them along the way, lets them make those good decisions. And, Goosebumps kind of, Stine always tried to do those twist endings to every book. That's his whole shtick, but throughout that challenge, the kids really didn't have the parents. It was the kids who were always the heroes, and they were the ones who always had to kind of get that forefront. And I think that's what appeals to a lot of kids, and why we feel, as we're older now, like I was more confident back then. Like I was like, oh, we're getting this part, or we're getting this, whatever. It is definitely a different thing for sure.
That is true. I never
Really
thought
hard to
about
put
it
into
that way
words,
either. That like the parents kind of took, like, yeah, it was really the kids who made it happen. Mm.
And I will say one thing with before we leave off here, Goosebumps Wiki has some photos from what's believed to be the production. Now, I don't know if any of these will ring a bell for any of this.
Yes. So that was okay. The hand that wrapped, what hand was, I think that was in the theater. Yes, I believe that was in the theater. Meaning like the scene in the theater. Gosh, what? I'm trying to
Because
think.
it's hard to tell because these are older, but like, so they're not super clear. Some of them are kind of grainy, but you do get the general idea of what's in there.
Yes.
If you recognize any of these like monsters, and
that's in the father's like laboratory. That monster. It's like an ant
like
thing.
even for me, like I'm like zooming in, it looks like a giant blue alien ant or something.
Yeah, it's like an ant.
Really
Exactly.
sure. Is that what it's meant to be?
Yeah. I don't know that, like, going back to that last picture, I'm like, what is that? Is that like a hand that wrapped him? Because I don't remember that.
Yeah, it's so I'll zoom in on it because his face is hilarious too. But maybe I'll darken it a little bit too. My camera's kind of blowing it out. But
yeah, did they say, is that the London production, or I don't even know.
Yeah, I don't know.
So it doesn't say. And this is why I was kind of curious. I was like, was this in your production, or maybe this was something
that might have
somewhere
changed?
else?
Because I'm like, that hand, I don't really remember that hand. The ant, yes, but that hand, I'm like, I don't know. Oh,
Yeah, because there's a few characters.
Yeah, that was, I believe that was Anne Marie Nest. That's who played my sister.
But they don't have a lot of photos available. Although this one's kind of interesting.
Yeah, that's the fun house. So yeah, that's where like, so the slappy, so that little box, so see like the yellow box that's kind of in the center.
Yeah, like a
That's
what
the
ticket
slappy
booth,
is.
I'd guess.
Mhm.
And actually, if you zoom in, you can even see that giant slappy that
Yep.
looks like they're rolling out there.
That was the biggest slappy. And then that was, I think it was just,
Yeah, that's massive.
see, that's the London. I think that's a London girl though, because the costume changed. Because I'm like, that doesn't look. I think they merged like the London photos with ours.
They do have that. They might have,
Yeah.
because this is a lighted
that's
picture of the same one that was just there without the neon.
Yeah, that's the skate. That's the skate character. But I don't know if it was. Again, I don't know which actor that was. It's hard to.
Yeah, and there's a couple more, but I mean, we'll end on this one. I was trying to.
Yeah, that's the bookstore that we kept going back to. So they would quickly change the scene and then it would be back. Everything always was in the bookstore. And then but then like sometimes in the bookstore, like one of the characters would be forgotten or not even, they'd be like, oh, did we have a friend or did we have a sister? So it's like, there's one point where like my character, they didn't remember that like they had a sister. So, but yeah, like different weird stuff would happen in the bookstore.
And out of curiosity, and again, it's really hard to tell, but are any of those you?
No, that's the other girl, Jamie.
No?
Nope.
Okay.
So that's That's
it's hard to tell. When I zoom in, it gets grainier. So it's I can't make out a face really.
My hair was a little bit longer. We looked slightly different, but they had us looking quite similar. So sometimes it's like there's a promo where we're both like have our hand up to the mirror. And we were like the exact same height. And I want to say she was 14 and but so she looked young too. But yeah, it was they had us looking like really, really similar. So sometimes I'm like, oh, is that Jamie or is that me? I don't know.
Yeah, it's especially hard to tell with photos from back then. Because even watching like some of my childhood stuff, which is embarrassing, of course, when you're an adult now, you're like, oh, why are we playing this? It's like, oh, please turn it off. But even looking at that footage from early 90s, when they were recording that stuff, like when you're at your school play or something, it's like, holy moly.
Yeah.
Like, a little rough.
Yep.
Like a shot on a potato.
Right.
So, but Hayden, did you have any right?
Yeah.
You don't think they will.
Yeah. I know. I even remember looking back at myself. I'm like, oh God, like why couldn't my bangs have been better? Like what is up with like, why the braids? Why did they? And I think a lot of it was my idea too. And I'm like, what I would have done
it
now.
Was styles at the time. I used to have, even in my school pictures, and I think it's funny, like the, what we used to call the McDonald's arches.
Yeah.
Your parents would just, for the boys, would split your hair down the middle and kind of give you that.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Classic 90s boy look, like you're from Home Improvement or something. And like,
yeah, I will say the kids now, like they dress so cute and like their hair is always perfect. It's so funny because it's like, the style now is so different. But it was like, it was 90s were so fun. It's like,
oh yeah.
Yeah. Can't regret.
Yeah, I loved them. Nope, and thankfully those giant perm fros went out of style from the 80s that our parents used to have. So.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, that was rough.
Yeah.
At least we didn't have that. I'll say that. I might have McDonald's arches, but I didn't have no giant perm fro thing.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
But Hayden, did you have any final questions?
I guess like the only one that I had, and maybe and maybe you don't, in terms of like where the show changed, do you know what the differences were between the US show and the London show, or was it still pretty similar, if you know?
I don't actually know because once it was done here, that was it. So it would be so interesting to gosh, if you could get a London cast member on here, how cool would that be? But obviously like they're out there, so it's just like, I don't know. Once the tour finished in the US, it was just kind of like, that was it. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think the book stayed the same. So I'm assuming maybe like they changed the monster here and there, because it's like they would do rewrites occasionally, like even looking on my script, I'm like, but there weren't a lot of rewrites that would happen, which makes me think, okay, if we didn't have a lot of rewrites, like maybe the only thing that really changed was just like some of the basic monsters, but I'm not sure.
Maybe some of the language, just because they're
Possibly
across the pond. Yeah.
Yeah.
Something there doesn't mean the same thing here.
Either, like I'm not sure if even the same director stayed, but I think everything kind of changed as far as, yeah, that would make sense that they would change the language too.
Well, I appreciate you coming on, Chloe. We appreciate you coming on.
Yes.
It was great to talk to you, learn about the live on stage that a lot of us have just not had any access to all this time since '98.
Yeah.
I mean, not quite 30 yet, but it's getting there.
Crazy.
A couple more years, which is kind of wild when you think about it.
Yeah.
So, if we can get Robert Holmes, would you be willing to come back? Maybe do a reunion episode?
You can get him, Rupert. Yeah. I know that from what I've heard, I believe he's working on some Broadway like I think he's directing on Broadway.
Okay.
But yeah, he's still very much in the industry. But yeah, I'm not sure like how you guys would get in contact, because I tried to see if he had social media or anything, but I don't think he does.
There's got to be
some
way.
of them don't, and usually we find other ways, not being creepers. I mean, it's literally public information, people, so we're not being creepers, okay? Usually it's like an agent, we know their company or something, and we'll reach out, something like that. So
I mean, if he's directing Broadway or off Broadway, it's like he shouldn't be too hard to find, I would think. But
yeah, if he's still active, it shouldn't be insanely difficult.
Yeah.
Just finding the right person to get to him would be, I think, the biggest challenge. But
yeah,
I think we can make it work. We found some people that we never thought we would.
Yeah.
Who've been out of the spotlight since the '90s show, or since the books, and they're just we've had them on. So I mean, I will see if I can find Rupert, and we'll hopefully have you back on. This has been a real joy. So hopefully we can also see some footage too. We want to see that footage field.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, a couple. There's a almost like a trailer, so can definitely share that. So.
Perfect.
Yes.
Well, guys, that's the end of our episode. We appreciate Chloe for taking time out of her day to join us and talk about the live on stage that she was a part of. A lot of interesting stuff. And we'll put all your socials, any information that you want, down in our description below. And until next time, guys, Bjorn's not here, so I'm going to have to do it, or unless Hayden knows it.
Take care, stay safe, and have a very scary day.
Love it.
Hey, you know what? Not too bad. Bjorn, you've been replaced.
Thanks, guys.